Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to start this evening's presentation with a short announcement from our principal, Mr. Keeley.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Mr. Keeley, principal here. I really was hoping that we would welcome you to our Hardwick Theatre this evening and be able to see each other face to face. Unfortunately, due to the national and local restrictions, we've been unable to do that. It's a real shame that we can't see you in person. I do look forward to welcoming all of our youngsters, new year sevens, with us in September, and hopefully I'll get to see you during the summer school. What you're going to hear shortly is my colleagues presenting our induction opportunities and ideas. There'll be a discussion about how things work at Thorns and what we plan to do in terms of induction over the coming weeks and months. As I say, I look forward to welcoming all of you in September, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to see you during the summer school. Have a great time, everyone. If I don't see you, have a wonderful 6-week summer break. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, and welcome to the Year 7 induction evening. My name's Mrs. Harris and I'm head of Year 7, and with me this evening is Mrs. Taylor, the Vice Principal in charge of Key Stage 3, and Mrs. O'Neill, the Director of L4L. This evening I'd just like to share with you some important information that obviously we would have shared with you had we been able to conduct this induction evening on site, and at the end of this presentation you will be able to ask any questions if there's anything that you're unsure of, and hopefully any questions that you have at this point we will be able to answer for you. So firstly, I'd just like to start with the basic expectations of students. We like students to arrive on time, be respectful, always have the correct equipment with them, smart uniform. We like the students to complete work to the best of their ability, expect challenging work, and also to follow instructions first time. So these are our basic expectations across all lessons within the academy. So at Thorns, we do things a little bit differently. In Key Stage 3, we follow a curriculum called Literacy for Life, or L4L. And I'd just like to explain to you a little bit more about how L4L works, and why we think it's one of the best features of our academy, and particularly is useful for the transition from primary to secondary school. So within Year 7, students experience 17 hours per week with one teacher based in one classroom. And that teacher will be their form teacher and L4L teacher. They will have 2 hours of specialist teaching in science per week and 2 hours of PE per week. They will also have separate lessons in art, music, MFL and DT. And students will have an access to an IT device to use during their lessons within L4L. Now, with L4L, we feel that because we spend so much time with these students, we're able to really build strong, supportive relationships with them, which enables us to really personalise their learning. It's a really nurturing environment, and we have found that obviously this year, despite the turbulence of the first lockdown and our current Year 7 not being able to experience on-site induction days or even a summer school, despite that they have settled really well, and they've really enjoyed their time with us in Year 7, and I think that is a lot down to the structure of the L4L curriculum. So L4L does continue throughout Key Stage 3. Students will have 12 hours in a week in Year 8 and 5 hours a week in Year 9. So L4L focuses on a range of competencies, looking at academic skills and personal skills. There are lots of self-directed opportunities within the curriculum to help shape the learning. It's a really flexible and adaptable curriculum, and students have a lot of time, like I said earlier, with their teacher, who's able to really focus on their individual needs, their skills and the interests of each student. The academic competencies include numeracy, scientific, reading, social and environmental, technological and communication. And we also look at the personal skills of personal learning, personal social skills, creativity and professional development. And on the screen now we see some pictures representing a range of themes across Key Stage 3. Included there we've got In Days of Old, the 1970s, iRobot, India, Grand Designs, water. So lots of really interesting themes. So within L4L lessons, discrete subjects are signposted for the children. So we will tell them that they'll be looking at geography skills, or they may be looking at a scientific skill or a technological skill, but it's taught across a theme. So for example, within Year 7, we look at silent movies, which is a particularly enjoyable one for the students. They'll look at some history, looking at America in the 1920s. They will also look at some science, looking at sound and the technology that was developed in the 1920s and 30s to move from silent movies through to talkies. They will look at creating their own silent movie, using technology to record it, and then also different software to edit that film. And then they will write an Oscar speech as if they are accepting an award for their work. So the theme is silent movies, but it covers a lot of different subjects and a lot of those different competencies that we looked at earlier. So that's how L4L works. We follow a programme called Accelerated Reader, which I know many primary schools also do, so this may not be new to your child. But the way in which this works is the children will take a short reading test early on in Year 7 to give them a ZPD score. And this ZPD score will signpost the children to a book level that is suitable for their ZPD range. We encourage the children to read for 20 minutes every day. When a student has finished reading a book, they will take the reading practice quiz that will determine how well they've understood the content of that book. And as they pass these quizzes, they will improve their ZPD score, which will change accordingly as we revisit that test. And this hopefully increases their understanding, their comprehension, and also makes the children become more accomplished readers. And we have a Year 7 library within the L4L building with a huge range of books to choose from, and we're actually in the process of ordering some more books. So it's a really lovely facility for the children to use. The Academy Day, students will need to arrive promptly to their classroom by 8:40. And on the next slide, I will just detail for you the timings of our day. So the first lesson of the day is our tutor time slot or form time, which runs from 8:40 to 9:15. So there will be a set directed task to complete during this time. That includes PSHE, reading, some other personal development, RE, and some reading. So that will vary from day to day. There will also be an assembly once a week during that time. And then we have session 1, which is an hour. Session 2 is another hour. And then for year 7, their session 3 is split into 2 parts. So they have 30 minutes of session 3 from 11:15 till 11:45. And then they have a long lunch. So you'll notice there is no morning break for year 7. They have one long 50-minute lunch from 11:45 until 12:35. So for the first part of that, the first 20 minutes, children will sit and eat their lunch. And then for the remaining half an hour, they go outside to play and socialise and get some fresh air. And then session 4 is an hour from 1:10 till 2:10, and session 5, 2:10 until 3:10. Obviously, because we do have that long morning session, it's really important that students do have some breakfast before they arrive to start the day. They are obviously allowed to go to the toilets during that morning session, and they are allowed to have drinks within the classroom so that they can have sips of their drink during that morning. Uniform. So it's quite a simple uniform policy that we have. So it's a black blazer with the Academy badge. Blazers need to be worn at all times. It's a white shirt that can be short sleeved or long sleeved, a black Academy tie, black trousers or a skirt. None of these tubular skirts that the girls like to wear. It needs to be a proper school skirt that is knee length. Black shoes, so no branded footwear, no trainers, and a black salwar kameez or hijab. And our PE kit, this can be purchased from the sports shop in Kings Wimford, and this can all be ordered online. We will post a link in the Q&A section that will take you to the sports shop website, and on there you will see all the available PE kit. All students are required to have a t-shirt. The cost of the kit does include having the initials printed on them, which we find is really useful in case anything gets lost. So along with the black t-shirt, there is a black hoodie. And then we have a choice for the bottom half. So we have shorts, there are leggings, jogging bottoms, and also a skirt, should the girls wish to wear a skirt, which is a skirt with shorts sewn into it. In terms of the uniform and the PE kit, ties and badges will be available to purchase from reception during the summer school week. And on the Wednesday of summer school, we will have also a little stand open to families where you'll be able to purchase ties and badges. But we will send more information about that along with summer school before that time. Also, on the Wednesday of summer school, we have the sports shop from Kingswinford coming in between 1 and 3 p.m. So they will bring samples of the uniform, which is obviously a good opportunity to look at sizes and whether your child would prefer the leggings to the shorts or the leggings to the jogging bottoms. So you'll have an opportunity to look at all that as well. Jewellery for health and safety reasons, all jewellery must be removed during PE lessons. So this includes any piercings in the ears, nose, face, stomach, and all rings and bracelets and necklaces and watches. Students are not allowed to use plasters to cover new piercings. Okay, this is due to the guidance from the Safe Practice in PE guidelines. So if students would like a new piercing, they need to ensure that this is done during the start of the 6 weeks holiday. And then at the start of the autumn term, these piercings can be removed for PE lessons. All students, whether male or female, need to ensure that they have clear vision when taking part in PE. So with this in mind, any student with long hair will be expected to tie their hair back before leaving the changing rooms. Students are expected to bring their own hairbands. However, if a student has forgotten one, there will be a selection available to borrow. Now, in terms of the PE kit, you may or may not be aware, this year, due to COVID restrictions, students have actually come into school on a PE day already dressed in their PE kit. This is something that is going to be reviewed, and it may or may not continue this way. We need to wait for further government guidance on whether changing rooms can be used from September. So we will obviously keep you informed when we know more about that. Hairstyles and haircuts, no extreme hairstyles or haircuts, so no bright or unnatural colours or shaved patterns into the hair, no shaved heads below grade 1, and no beads in braided hair. Nails and makeup for year 7, makeup must be discreet and no false nails or extensions or nail varnish. So going back to the devices, all students have access to a device within L4L. This device will only be used by that student, and they are responsible for looking after it and for putting it away at the end of the day, making sure it's charged and taking care of that piece of equipment. We do use the devices a lot, although we do not use them for every activity, but it's something that we really find supports the L4L curriculum really well. We will share with your children at the very start of the term how to access the student portal, which is where they will find all of the information that they need, but that can be accessed quite easily from the Thorns website, which is thornca.org.uk. We use something called class sites a lot within the classroom. Again, this is something that your child will become very familiar with, but we use it for students to upload their work using the Dropbox. We use it for class discussions. We use it for planning, so on the calendar the students can see maybe the lesson for that day or any other activities that are happening that week, and this is something that can also be accessed from home. So equipment is really important. So students must carry an appropriate school bag large enough to hold exercise books, a folder and a well-equipped pencil case. So the pencil case is really important. We do tend to get to a stage where students are just arriving with a pen in their blazer pocket, and that isn't really sufficient for all of the things that they need during the day. So they need a range of pens, black or blue or black and blue. A green pen is particularly important. This is used a lot within the academy for responding to teacher feedback, for self-assessment and for peer assessment. So a green pen is as important as the blue or black pens. Pencils, a ruler, rubber, pencil sharpener, a scientific calculator, and a geometry set for maths. That includes a pair of compasses and a protractor. Okay, so these are the essential items of equipment. Other desirable items: pencil crayons or felt tips, highlighters, folders, or a dictionary. However, all of these can be borrowed and lent to children within the classroom, so there isn't a need to have those desirable items. Attendance and punctuality. So it is really important, obviously, that your child attends the academy each day. It is expected that every student maintains above 96% attendance. And pleased to say, overall within year 7, we tend to be around that 96, if not a little bit higher, which is fantastic. Punctuality: the gates to the school site open at 8:15, and we ask that students are not on site before this time, but they do need to be on site by 8:35, as they will need to be in their form classroom for 8:40. If for any reason a student arrives after 8:40, a late detention will be issued for after school on the same day. And any absences need to be reported to us by 8:45. Obviously, we understand there will be times when children are ill and they can't attend school, but we need to be informed of that. If for any reason we're not informed of an absence, we do use an external agency to conduct phone calls or door knocks to try and ascertain why children may not be in school, just so that we can ensure everybody is accounted for. So within L4L, we set something called flipped learning rather than homework. And this is schoolwork at home and homework at school. The flipped learning will be set often in preparation for a lesson rather than an extension of a lesson. So children will be asked to complete a task at home in preparation for further learning within school. Within L4L, this is set as and when is needed throughout the themes. Mobile phones and other portable devices are not permitted to be used or seen on the academy site. So mobile phones are allowed on the academy site, but they must be switched off and kept out of sight. So we ask the students, as soon as they reach the top gate, to turn their phones off and put them inside their bags. It's not a good idea to put them inside blazer pockets because they can fall out quite easily, and then we end up with damages for which we can't take any responsibility. Any student found using a mobile phone or seen with a phone will have their phone confiscated, and it will be removed to our BMS team. If for any reason your child needs to be contacted or we need to get a message to them, it's very easy to do that. A phone call is made to reception and then a message will be relayed to your child. We have a wonderful group within the academy called Thorns Against Bullying, TAB for short. And this is a group of older students who have undergone specialist training to be able to support students in a variety of situations, such as bullying or friendship issues or any settling in or issues outside of school. Drop-in sessions are going to be available at designated times, and we also have 4 TAB members that have been allocated to each inform group and will work closely with those students throughout the year. We understand that sometimes children prefer to speak to somebody of a similar age rather than an adult. Obviously, these TAB ambassadors have been fully trained to understand that as and when they need to inform trained adults about anything that is disclosed to them. But we have found in the past this has been a really useful support system for lots of our students. Just like to introduce a few people that you can see on the screen. So we have Sir Mark Grundy, who is the CEO of the Shireland Academy Trust. Mr. Keeley, our principal. Mrs. Taylor, our vice principal. Mrs. Sadler, our other vice principal. Mr. Scrivens, the assistant principal. Mr. Fletcher, another assistant principal, and Mrs. Danks, our third assistant principal, and we have Mr. Latham, who is our lead teacher and head of science. And then, most importantly, we have our Year 7 staff. So we have Mrs. O'Neill, who's Director of L4L, so she oversees the L4L curriculum across Years 7, 8 and 9. Myself, Head of Year 7, and then I'm also a teacher of L4L, and then the other L4L teachers within Year 7 are Mrs. Beddle, Miss Tether, Miss Ashley, Mrs. Porter, Mrs. Trahan and Mr. Davis. And then our BMS staff. So BMS stands for Behaviour Management Services. We have Mrs. Timmis, who's a designated safeguarding officer. Mr. Folks, who we don't have a photograph of at the moment. Mrs. Bradley and Mrs. Darcy and Mrs. Forward, who are all behaviour workers. So the BMS system is used for children if we feel they are disrupting the learning of others. Teachers can make a call out and that child will be removed from the lesson for a period of time and then taken to meet with that teacher to have a restorative conversation in the hope that the same poor behaviour that's led to the disruption and the call out won't happen again. On the screen now we have a slide showing you all the banned items. So all of the items on the screen are not allowed to be brought into the academy, with the exception of the mobile phone, but obviously we are not allowed to see the mobile phone. So as long as they are kept in bags, that is okay. But all of the other items are not to be brought onto the academy site. We have recently, within the last 12 to 18 months, launched an app called Edulink. So this is an app that we use to communicate with families. We also send reports on Edulink, letters and assessment data. It's also an app that we are looking to continue to use for parents' evenings. So you can access this Edulink app on your phone. You can also access it on a desktop computer or a laptop. You will receive an email with your login details for this app if you haven't already. So it is important, if you haven't received this email or for any reason you're not able to access the site, please phone the Academy reception as soon as possible and they'll be able to rectify that problem for you. But this is a really useful app. You will be able to log on and see attendance information for your child, homework, behaviour, incidents, their timetable, any clubs that they wish to sign up for, they would do via the app. Also reports and links to other important information. So it's a really useful app to be able to access. We have a really exciting trip planned for next year. Now, this is obviously something we were hoping to be able to explain a little bit more to you about this evening had we been in school. But Mrs. Porter, one of the L4L staff, has organised this fantastic trip for next year for Year 7. It would be a 3-day, 2-night residential to Boraton Park in Shropshire, and we're hoping to be able to take one half-year group from Monday to Wednesday, and then the other half of the year group from Wednesday to Friday. Mrs. Porter has put together a presentation that details everything about this residential trip, and the link for that presentation will be posted on our website, and I'll show you in just a bit exactly where that's going to be, along with other information that you may wish to look at. So if we skip just to here, on the website, you will see circled there in red, virtual experience. If you click onto virtual experience, this is where you will find the presentation about the residential trip. There will also be a form on there, a Microsoft form for you to complete should your child be interested in the residential trip. There's also a virtual tour on there of the school, because we are aware that a lot of children haven't been to us, and they may not be coming to summer school, so they may not have the opportunity to have a look around before September. So the virtual tour was actually put together last year because of all of the COVID restrictions. So you can have a look on there and have a look around the academy site. So there's lots of information there on the virtual experience section of the Thorns website. So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be delivering some goodie bags to your child's primary school. So in the goodie bag, there is a reading book along with a challenge to be completed over the summer holidays. There's also some information in there for you as families to help you support your child with the transition to secondary school, the bookmark in there and a pen. So we hope that you find that useful and that it's a welcome gift for the children. Again, it was something we were hoping to distribute during the 2 induction days. So we hope the children like it. There'll also be some information in there about COOF, which is an online mental health organisation, which we have links with. And obviously we're fully aware that the mental health of the children has been affected due to the last 18 months. And we are prepared to be able to support children, particularly those who are anxious about the transition to secondary school, or those that are suffering with anxieties or worries about anything else. So there'll be some information in there regarding COOF as well, and the children will hear a lot more about COOF over summer school and when they start in September. And then finally, almost finally, instrument lessons. So we have a growing music department, and we are aware that some children may be or may have been learning to play an instrument in primary school, and they may wish to continue this. So if you would like more information, the link will be posted in the Q&A, and you can follow the link and complete the form in preparation for next year. Okay. And then finally, summer school days. So summer school is taking place on Friday the 22nd and Thursday the 22nd and Friday the 23rd of July, and then Monday the 26th, Tuesday the 27th and Wednesday the 28th of July. We have lots of fun things planned for this week. We can't wait to see the children. We currently have 145 children signed up for summer school. We've got lots of activities planned, including science, music, drama, some classroom-based activities, some sports. We have the ice cream man visiting, and then we also have a trip to Drayton Manor planned. We are also inviting families in on the Wednesday afternoon, and more information will be sent to you via email shortly. But we would like to invite you in on the Wednesday to come and have a look at the work that's been completed during summer school by your child, and also, like I mentioned earlier, to give you the opportunity to have a look at the PE kit, to purchase ties and badges, and to also have a look at some good quality second-hand uniform that we have. The PTFA have very kindly organised a uniform amnesty recently, and we have lots of almost new uniform that's been donated by families. So all of that will be available during Wednesday the 28th from around 1:30. That will be on the school site. If for any reason you haven't been able to inform us as to whether your child would or would not like to take part in summer school, you can still, students can still take part. However, the trip to Drayton Manor on the Monday is now fully booked, but your child would be able to attend on the other 4 days. And over the next couple of days, we will be informing you of your child's form group and their teacher. So that letter will be sent via email, so keep an eye out for that. So if you would like to post any questions in the Q&A, myself, Mrs. O'Neill and Mrs. Taylor will do our best to answer them. Finally, I would like to say that I really look forward to meeting all of your children. Obviously a lot of them during summer school, and the others in September, and we really do hope that you found this evening informative and useful. Obviously apologies we weren't able to do this on site, but that was something that was obviously taken out of our hands. So thank you very much for logging on this evening, and I look forward to meeting you soon.
Hello, we've had a question about packed lunches and allergies. In terms of what's often offered at school, there is the opportunity for children to buy sandwiches or hot food. We would ask you if there are any allergies that you make us aware of that, and obviously that can be catered for by the kitchen staff. And children are also allowed to bring a packed lunch into school should they wish to. They don't need to inform us each day as to whether they are bringing a packed lunch or buying hot food. That's just something that they can obviously decide upon depending on whatever suits them that day. We've had a question about lockers, which I think everybody may need to be aware of the situation with regards to that. We don't have lockers available across the academy. However, due to the amount of time that the students spend within one classroom, we find that there isn't a need for lockers. They do have limited movement around the site for a small number of lessons, and should they need to, they can leave things within their L4L classroom. With regards to the transition booklet that children were given when we visited primary schools a couple of weeks ago, we won't be looking at completing that during summer school. So it is something that we'd like the children to attempt to complete during the summer holidays. And then it is something that we will look at within individual classes when we start in September. We've had a very good question about maths within L4L. So within the 17 hours of L4L, 17 hours that your child spends within L4L, 3 hours of that is a discrete maths lessons. However, the students will be in ability groups for maths, so they will sit a baseline test within the first couple of weeks of year 7. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing that the children need to revise for. But based on the results of that assessment, we would then place them into ability groups for maths, which is taught within L4L.